Okay, before we go on, I just want to show you what I did. So for the title, I used a beveled edge, special beveled edge, which was for the fonts. I also put a little drop shadow. I put a glowing edge around it. Same thing with the lettering for the person's name, the author's name. Also for the cover design, I put it down below here. Now, without this shape here, it kind of like didn't really stand out all that much. So I just made a shape. It was one of the crop shapes, and then I lowered the opacity down a bit so you can kind of see it. So I thought that was a nice look. One thing I also want to add is when you're putting the author's name, do not put by, B-Y. Just put the person's name. Now if you're doing the cover design, you can do cover design by, but for their name, do not put that. Alright, now we're going to work on the spine. Before we do anything else, we're going to flatten everything. This is when you're absolutely sure this is how you want everything to look. Okay? When you add the spine, you also want to consider a couple of things. Do you want to use part of the background for the spine? What pieces do you want to use for the spine? Now let's say that I just want to use a part of this layer 1 here, just a part of the mountains. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bunch of things invisible and just focus on that piece right there. And I'm going to use the selection, the rectangular selection, and I'm going to make a selection like, I'm going to take more than I think I need, maybe something like that. Okay, I'm going to select this part of the mountain, and I'm going to right click, lay via copy. Something that I'm going to use for later. Okay. I'm going to need that piece later on. So when you are flattening everything, you can select all of these except for that. So you can merge all these layers, but then when you get down to that layer 7, don't merge that together. In fact, I'm going to move this up so that way I can get to it easily. Sorry about that. I have to simplify first. Now I can merge the layers. Yeah, so everything's merged but layer 7. Now, what had happened is you can see that I made things invisible. So when you make things invisible, they're going to go, they're going to disappear, and they're going to stay invisible when you merge the layers. So, sorry about that. It's good to make mistakes while I'm doing this video. I'm not gonna redo this video. I'm gonna leave that as is. So you can see that all of this stuff needs to come back. Alright, let's try this again. So we are going to merge layers. Okay, great. So the only thing that's weird is this piece of background that I don't want to do anything with right now. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we need to increase the canvas. We're going to be putting a spine right over here and add on to it. Okay. So as we prepare, you want to go back to your form, and you got to make sure you know the size of the spine. So we're going to go to resize, canvas size. The canvas, it's not going to make your picture bigger, it's going to make the canvas that it sits on bigger. Now this anchoring, what we want to do is we want the expansion to happen out this way. Okay, so what will happen is then anything that you add will add over here. If you had it anchored in the middle, then imagine if you add an inch. You're going to add a half of an inch here, half of an inch here. But you want to make sure it's anchored. The image is anchored here, but then the expansion only happens here. So we're not changing the height. Height's the same. So we're going to take the 4 1/4, and the spine, the cover, the thickness of the spine is 75 inches. I'm sorry, 0.75. So if it's 3/4 of an inch, we're going to take 3/4 of an inch and we're going to add it to the 4 1/4, and it comes out to 5. Okay, there's my expansion. It's at that point that you can move this over here if you wanted that to be in the background. Okay, next video is going to show you how you make the spine by itself in order for you to attach it to this piece right here.